All right. Welcome, everybody to Mindset Central. My name is Greg Healy, and today we are blessed to have John Frazier with us, and we are going to talk about the road to success. John is a very successful course creator, corporate coach. He's been building dynamic and high-performing teams for Fortune 500 companies for over 20 years, and he brings a skill set to the table that I think is going to benefit us from the perspective of being able to build in the middle of chaos going on around you. John has been instrumental in many companies going in and taking teams that were in a chaotic place, being able to make sense of it, give it structure, and cause it to grow. And so those mindset shifts are incredible. He's picked up a lot of incredible data over the last 20 plus years. So probably longer than that in his career. So we have a gem in front of us today. And so we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what that means to get your mind in gear so that you can find that road to success. John's got a few programs. One that we outlined in the marketing piece, the Goal Setters Workbook. Definitely, if you have an opportunity to check that out, do that. It's something that can benefit you. But as John comes to the floor today, we're going to talk a lot about what that means for you as an individual and how you can build your mindset so that you can find that thing that you really want to do, that passion, whether it's fix your credit to buy a house, whether it's fix your credit to buy a car, start a business, whether it's whatever it is. He's going to give us some gems today. So let me just stop yakking and bring John to the floor. John, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Going
Yeah,
good.
I'm excited to get in front of the Mindset Central community.
Well, we're glad to have you here, brother. Say, listen, how's the weather up there in Kansas City?
55 degrees, not bad. We will not have a white Christmas. We're going to have quite a green Christmas, and that's fine with me. But everybody is gearing up and raring to go, man. The family is excited. The kids are excited. So we're in a good place.
That's good. So we're going to open up a little bit. I just want to, before we get started, I gave people kind of a snapshot of who John Frazier is and a little bit about your background. But why don't you kind of fill in the blanks for us, kind of give us a little bit of a synopsis of who you are, where you came from, and where you're at right now.
Oh man, so we'll nutshell this thing because I'll take an hour. So basically, I got my start in personal development and developing myself through the corporate world, and really that's where most of us get our experience when we come from a background of working a 9-to-5 and trying to take care of your family and pay bills and do those things. One of the things that I noticed early on in my career as an agent, as somebody who would either be sitting on a phone or behind a desk or in front of the public, because I've had some front-facing jobs as well, I noticed that people generally did not like what they do. They were mercenaries, right? They would go from job to job. Whoever was paying the most, that's what they would do. But not 2 months into the job, they would talk about how they hated the job and they hated the environment. They hated going to work. And it was just this constant grind. Couple that with life and marriage and kids and all of those things, and you can really find yourself in some pretty shaky territory. And as with most people who have taken the leap to improve themselves, I hit a low place. You know what I mean? Hit a low place and lost a marriage, lost a job, mom's sick, somebody has to take care of her. Went from working in a nice corporate arena to basically being off work for 2 years, taking care of my mother. And this was in my 30s. So it's different when you're in your 20s or in your teens and you leave a job, you can go get another one. The older you get, the harder it is for you to be able to walk back into the corporate space and command what you commanded when you left, especially if there's a gap on your resume. You guys will learn that through experience. But I look at that as an opportunity. I took that opportunity to do something amazing. And I really peeled back all of the layers of what it takes to goal set, what it takes to lead. I took 20 years of management experience and training from some of the top courses that you can take in the corporate arena, being certified at those levels, certified in conflict resolution, certified in change management, certified in building concrete and constructive teams, taking all of that knowledge and applying it to my personal life so that I could get back on track. But what ended up happening was I noticed that as I began to manage, other people were gravitating to the style that I had adapted to, and they were failing in some areas. And it came down to understanding the difference between environment and leadership, right? Like anybody can manage, but it takes a leader to change an environment. And that's where my background stems from. And so fast forward, like I said, I'm nutshelling this thing. I could go on and on. Fast forward, now I'm in a place where I'm helping other managers to learn and find their groove in their place and to lead environments where people love to come to work. They're excited. Matter of fact, my biggest saying is, I want you to be so excited about work that if you have to call in sick, you'll be mad. And when you approach your job that way, when you approach building environments that way, where people, they feel like they're missing something if they're not there, then you don't have turnover issues and you don't have behavioral issues, because people really want to be a part of what's going on. And so that's what I bring to the corporate arena. And they've hired me in a few different places to turn some teams around, and I've won several awards doing that. And then in a personal space, it's the same, and we'll get into that. I'll save some of that for when we're talking, but there's really the mindset that you have to have is no different when it comes to your personal space. So as an employee, you have a responsibility to your work environment and to your own peace of mind. It's not up to the company to make sure that you're okay. It's up to you. But it helps when you have a leader that is committed to making sure you're okay.
So I know you're the leader's coach.
Yes.
And that it says something to be able to turn a team around, but be able to turn the actual rudder, not the ship, to be able to actually move the rudder. So you're kind of like the wheel on the ship that turns the rudder. You're helping the coach guide the whole team, right? Or help the leader guide the whole team. So you mentioned a couple of things. One of the things I wanted to point out or ask a question on is how do you develop a mindset in someone where you mentioned earlier they don't want to come to work. They hate their job, right? They're a mercenary, right? That's what you said.
Right.
Now you've changed their mindset to a place where you've made work fun. Now they hate calling in. They're mad because they called in. What? Talk to me about the process of moving from one to the other, because that's obviously a mindset shift. How do you do that? I mean, what do you say to somebody to help them do that?
So it's interesting, and I'll give you something very simple that you can refer to later, and it is putting your attention on intention, right? Okay. So if I took this job because I needed a job, because I was unemployed, then your intention for taking the job was just to earn money. And you really didn't focus on how or what you were going to do to earn that money. And what you find is that it may not be the best fit for you based on your intention when you took the position. Now, one of the things that I do when I help people who realize that they're in that situation, because that's what happens, right? They come to work. At first, they're excited through training. They're excited the first couple weeks. They start sitting around the person that's been there 8 years. And here is the head scratcher. They didn't like their job for the entire 8 years they've been sitting there. And so now you don't like your job because they tell you all of the stuff that they learned over 8 years that they don't like. Right.
And I just got there 2 weeks ago. So now I'm
right.
So what you're saying is that person is like a Hiroshima bomb in the midst of all of the newbies, because when they get there, they're blowing up everybody's mindset with regard to how the job should turn out.
Right. But I mean, again, like I said, there's a responsibility on two sides there. As a leader, it's your responsibility to create an environment, right? So I ask this question in my seminars all the time. Who, when you were 5 years old, said, I want to be a manager when I grow up? When I ask that question, nobody raises their hand. I haven't had one person yet. And so what I tell them is, we fall into this position. You fall into it because you may have been skilled and the company wanted to promote you, or you showed some type of leadership ability and somebody above you saw something in you and gave you this opportunity. So a lot of people come into it with regards to results, right? You're giving me this position because you want these metrics, you want these results. But the truth about metrics is they're a lag measure. Metrics follow behavior, and they follow performance, and they follow attitude, and they follow intention. So if all you're caring about is numbers, your numbers will always suffer because the people don't have the right intention about what they do. So I help people to look at a job as a business partner, right? So I want to start a tanning salon in Florida. I don't have the money, right? I don't even live in Florida.
Really, all the jobs you could think about starting in that was it.
Hey, I'm just out there thing, because it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what you want to do. So say that's what you want to do, but today you are Joe, the phone agent, sitting on the phone, and you make what, $16, $17 an hour. Well, you're thinking to yourself, this is what I really want to be, but right now this is what I am. And I hate coming to work because I'm not doing what it is I want to do. Well, when you look at work as a business partner, that company is investing dollars into your dream. It's up to you to take the income that you earn and then apply it with time and measure and education to get to the dream that you want to get to. So the job now becomes the catalyst, or the thing that gives me the income so that I'm able to educate myself to get to the dream, right? And so now you can't wait to get to work, because as long as they're paying you, it gets you one step closer to where it is you're really trying to go.
Gotcha. But go ahead.
Oh no, go on.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt your thought. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say. So that's where the mind shift begins to happen, because the biggest part of anything, and when you talk about the Goal Setters Workbook, you talk about goal setting as a practice, and people set goals. But they set goals the same way they try and start a business. They don't necessarily know where they're starting from. And they set this goal, and then they upset themselves because they didn't realize what they didn't know. And they didn't realize where they were starting from to get there. Seems too big. I don't even want to try it. But the right mindset is, let me assess where I am so that I know exactly what to look forward to. Hey, I want to run a tanning business, but I know nothing about tanning businesses. So I might need to start looking at YouTube, and I might need to start Googling some things, and I might need to start picking up some books on tanning so that I can begin the journey, right? And that's the thing. Without a true assessment of where you are, you will find yourself disappointed more often than not. You want to go get a Bentley, but you don't know what your credit score is. And so then you're upset because when you go on the lot, they're going to sit you in the Bentley. They're going to hand you the keys. They're going to let you drive around. Then you're going to come back and they're going to say, you can't even afford to sweep the floor here. And then you go, man, you walk away devastated. But if you really take a self-assessment, not in a negative manner, but in a manner for information, you want to know what you're working with. And once you have a realistic goal or your realistic point of view, and when you talk about the GROW method, which is in the book, you have the goal itself and then reality, right? What is your reality? You can't get to the goal without understanding what reality is. And then look at the obstacles or opportunities. You know, once you know what the reality is, what is it going to take for me to get from here to the goal?
Right.
And then W, what will you do? You know, what will you do now? Now that you know that it's going to take 3 years, you're not going to be upset in 2 weeks because you already know it's going to take 3 years.
So I was going to ask you about your method, your GROW method. I was going to ask you to highlight on that. So I'm glad you did that because it kind of leads into you talked a little bit about lag and using your attention is squarely on your behavior, which is a lag motivator.
Absolutely.
Talk to me a little bit about intention in the lead result versus the lag so that we can properly focus our attention where it needs to go and start the journey, because this a two-part thing. So I want to be able to start the journey. So where do I place my attention to start the journey? The second thing is being overwhelmed by the end result you talked about, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So after we talk about the lead and where to put my intention so I can start the journey, talk to me about identifying the dream and walking that path, right? So that I'm not overwhelmed. Give me some practical steps on how to get there. So
first and foremost, you want to set the stage. You want to make sure that what you're doing from a good space. If I'm a leader, the word genuine is something that I take to heart. If I tell you that I'm concerned about you and your children and your health and all of those things, if we're having a conversation, you should be able to feel that, right? You should walk away knowing that my intent is to make sure that you and your family are okay. And we may know the rules, right? You got to go home. You got a sick kid. You got something going on, and you're talking to me, and you know that it's going to be a mark against your attendance. But we're not going to focus on what we already know it is. The more important thing is to focus on the health, the family, because once that's okay, now you can focus your attention on what it is you want to do. So coming to work every day with the mindset that you're going to do the best possible job you can do, not for the company, but because that's who you are. That then changes your point of view about everything that you do.
Right. So what are you saying that how you do, and I've heard this said before, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Absolutely.
So if you treat your job like a doormat, when you walk into your own business, the likelihood of you doing the same thing is high.
Man, let's talk about something even scarier. If you take shortcuts, if you just dial it in at work every day, how do you think you're going to do when you have your own business? If somebody's paying you money to do a thing and you're trying to find the cheapest, easiest way to get it done without putting forth any effort, then you think you're going to go start a business, it's not going to go well for you because you've already created a culture in your attitude that you want to do just enough to get the result. But starting anything, you have to develop a attitude that you're going to work until it's finished.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that might not be 8 hours. It might not be 16 hours. Sometimes you might have to sit in front of a thing for a couple of days and not get sleep so that you can begin to start the thing, right? And once you're in that groove or in that space, work until your body and your mind says, I'm done with this for right now. You see what I mean? And just like working out at the gym, you begin to push the limits of when you're done.
Okay.
But you should approach work that same way. And it's all about mindset. And that's why I say, once you look at your job as an investor in your future company, now you want to do all you can to keep your investors happy and satisfied. So if that means I've seen guys start businesses, but they went and got 2 jobs so that they could fund the thing, right? And yeah, they might be sweeping up or they might be sitting behind the counter, serving you your fries. And you're thinking to yourself, man, what is this guy doing back there? But little do you know that he's taking that entire check and he's buying properties. You probably are living in a house he owns.
But I want to throw something on top of that too, just so that there's clarity here in your credit. We've had clients in Shiloh's business. Her clients sometimes have had incredible credit scores, above 700, 800, right? And still got denied for credit. And so people say, you mean you can have an 800 credit score and still get denied? Absolutely. Because 800 credit score is just like your degree. You went to high school or college or whatever and got your certification, your degree or whatever. It gets you in the door.
Sure.
But then somebody's going to take a deeper look eventually and look at your background and all that other kind of stuff. Just because you say you have a bachelor's degree in this doesn't mean you physically know how to do the things that they're asking you to do. And so I know how many people do we know that actually have degrees that they're not even working in. So the degree itself gets you through the door, but then somebody else is going to take a hyper focused look on what it is. And when you have your credit and your credit scores, they do the same thing. An 800 credit score will get you a pre-approval, right? But then when you actually sit down to go get the money, they're gonna look at your history, your pay history, your attitudes toward money and credit and everything, how you use your environment, right? And so it is the same way with your job.
Sure.
Right? If you go in with the mindset that I know a thing, so I'm going to get by, then when you go get ready to go run your own business, and go get money, right? Then people are going to look at your track record. How are you going to get funding if from a bank or from a credit company or whatever, if you don't have a track record that shows that, yes, I'm going to pay the money back, or yes, I'm good for the loan, or yes, I'm good for the funding, whatever. You got to have some kind of a track record that speaks for you beyond getting in the door.
Right. And that takes a different kind of thinking. Like your mindset has to be different. One of the things I had a client yesterday, and I talked to the client. I said, my current contract, if you break it all down, pays me somewhere close to $32, $33 an hour. And I said, understand this. That's not my only source of income. And I'm not downplaying anybody who says that, for some people, that's their ceiling, right? They make $32 an hour. That's it. They're going to go to work and they're going to come home. That's all they're going to do. I asked them, I said, now, what if I told you then in that same hour that this corporation is paying me $30, that same corporation is paying somebody $10,000 for just 1 hour? And I was like, if you really put your thought process on that, if you're making $10,000 an hour and you only work 1 hour a week, you're still going to be $500,000 richer by the end of the year. Right. And you're not putting forth nearly as much effort. And in order for me to even come close to that under that contract, I have to work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and then work 52 solid weeks, and I still haven't hit 6 figures. You see what I mean? So with a simple shift in thinking, in less than a 2-year span, you can change an hourly wage into a lifestyle and into a mind where you can pay all the bills you're struggling to pay today. And you can do that in an hour. And then you've bought your freedom, and you've bought the ability to do other things. The corporations people work for, the owners of those corporations are not working. They are doing whatever it is life says that they should be doing, because they understand that once you put certain measures in place, you don't have to be the one clocking in. You can pay somebody for that. And we went into a long thing. Like, I broke it down and said, okay, if you're making $10,000 a week and you spend $6,000 of that to keep your business going, you still made $4,000 in the week, and you're still doing better than a $31 an hour person.
Oh, for sure. And you only worked an hour for it.
Right. Exactly. And so it is the lack mentality that says I need to keep every dime that I make, but it is the wise ruler who says, hey, I don't have to have all the money. As long as I have my freedom and the things that I need, I can set measures in place that will take care of me and my family long after I'm not here, and work not as hard for it. It's not that you're doing something that's secret or something that's crazy. You're just hyper focused on what it is you want to do. And you've learned the steps and the measures in order to get that done. Applied knowledge is much more better education than a degree. Get specialized skill. Apply your knowledge to whatever gift it is you've been given, and watch how your life will change.
That's true. So you're talking about lack mentality. You're talking about eating the seed.
Right.
People have a tendency, and I was there. I get it. People have a tendency to eat the seed, because they don't see beyond what it is, or what the seed could become, or the potential of the seed itself. And so if I took one kernel of corn, put it in the ground, it'll produce a stalk with an ear on it that has another 500 kernels. That's abundance. But if I eat the kernel of corn, then I don't get, I don't have an opportunity to get the 500, but I don't see it. I remember one time you put out a meme that had there were two guys digging ditches, and one of them found a big old, or a little diamond. It was about this big. It was big enough. And then the other guy got frustrated and quit, but he didn't see that right below his feet was a diamond that was like 20 times the size, but he quit because he couldn't compete with the other guy. And how many times is our mentality like that, right?
Sure.
So, in part two of that question that I was asking you about the dream, right? So everybody's sitting there in front of their computers.
Mm-hmm.
They have a dream. They want to be somebody. They want to start something. They have this incredible idea,
right?
But it seems so insurmountable because they haven't put anything down on paper. They haven't done any of the steps that we go through when we help people build businesses. What can you say to somebody who is a dreamer? They want to get out of where they are. They're frustrated. They're full of anger and bitterness because of their past, and they're not getting anywhere into their future toward whatever they're dreaming about. Let's say it's Joe and his tanning salon.
Mm-hmm.
Not good for Irish people, by the way. I just want to say that. But in any event, let's say Joe and his tanning salon in Florida. He's sitting in a call center right now, or he's sweeping floors at the local hotel. Maybe he's a houseman or something like that at a hotel, or whatever the job is, but he's not maximizing his potential.
Absolutely.
How can and by the way, folks, your potential is there. You are the kernel of corn. You just don't see beyond where you are right now. You can't see the abundance of the whole ear. So you never really push past it because you've been lied to by your environment. So nature and nurture have lied to you and told you that this is the way you need to be. So you believed it, you bought into it, and now you're living it. But John, tell us, we have a dream because somewhere in here we're thinking, if I would have just took the red pill,
Right. Absolutely.
right? I could get out of the matrix. What can I do to go toward my dream, but not just go toward it, but take steps for success? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we're going to have to really begin with how you think about what it is you want to do, right? So whenever I give homework or whenever I'm coaching, my first thing is make sure that you are in a happy place, or make sure that you are excited or that you feel good when you begin to look at what it is you're trying to accomplish.
What do you mean by that?
Things feel daunting because we focus on the unknown. We focus on how in the world can we get this done? Like, I don't even know anything about that. You begin to stack your mind with all these negative connotations. I don't know about that. I'm not skilled in that area. It's happened with me and you as I've been doing my homework. And I'm like, well, man, I'm just not a video person, or I'm not this and I'm not that. And then 3 knots later, nothing's getting done, right? because I've knotted myself out of it. But if you're excited about it and you say, man, I'm going to make a video and I might be digging in my nose or something crazy might be happening, but who cares? I'm going to do it. And then you do it and you get excited about it, and then laugh at yourself and laugh at it, right? Like, look at it and say, this idiot knows nothing. But I promise you, the more that you do it, the more comfortable you become in your own skin. Understanding, again, you really have to do a reality check and know where you are. Then you're able to take that journey and you're able to start taking those steps toward where it is you want to go. Now, once you look at it like you're planning a vacation or you're planning a trip, right? Like, whenever we're planning a trip, we don't just say we want to go to California, man. We get on the internet and we start pulling up pictures of hotels and rental cars, and then we start looking at what we want to do when we're there. We're watching videos. We watch the YouTubers go to Disneyland and go, yeah, man, I'm gonna ride that, right? So now you've built this whole thing in your head and you can't not go because you've already built this experience in your mind. And so once that happens, you just got to figure out how you want to get there. Think about going from wherever you are to wherever you're trying to go. There's so many roads to get there. And it's overwhelming because you've never been. But just like you can Google the location, you can Google how to get there. You can get your roadmap and figure out, hey, this is a straight path that'll get me from here to Disneyland. So guess what? That's the road I'm going to take. Now, other people might get there faster. They may have another method of getting there. You chose your car and you didn't choose a plane. Don't get mad at the plane guy because he done landed there already, right? Keep driving your car. Stick to the road that you have started on because you've made progress. You're not at home anymore. You're somewhere in between home and Disneyland, and you want to go back home and start again. That makes no sense. Keep on the path. And by and by, everything around you begins to change, right? Your conversation with the people you love and the conversation with people around you, your attitude, your desire, it becomes infectious. People really want to be a part of what it is you're doing because they see that you're doing something and they're still stuck in their I don't know how to do something mode. And you can really affect everything, but it starts with making sure that you do it from a good place. Most people set goals, and they set goals like they set their workout goals. You know, I want to lose weight. Oh my God, I got to sit there and I got to go to the gym and I got to lift these weights, and then I'm sore and my body is telling me it don't want to do it. Like why? No. There's a way to work out where it doesn't kill you. You know, nobody said go to the gym and work 3 hours, 5 days a week. How's about going an hour a day, 3 days a week? And then when your body starts waking you up at 5 a.m, you go, well, shoot, I'm up. I might as well go to the gym. And so then you start going more and you learn by and by that it's good for you.
Then you go all the way to the gym and realize that it's COVID and the gym got COVID hours, and you still got to wait an hour for them to open. No, I'm just kidding.
See, look, then you get out the car and start walking or do something. I mean, there's a billion ways to get it done, right? We focus on the things we don't have and not focus on the things that would make us successful. Right. And it's not your fault. You touched on something earlier, and it's so true. We live in a world, not just the United States, but the entire world system is designed to give you exactly what it is for you to be exactly who you are right now. So they want you to go get an education, but get an education just enough for you to be able to perform whatever duty it is they need you to perform, so that they can pay you a wage, which is usually between 1% to 3% of what you're actually worth, so that you can then get a check, go out there, buy the products from the company that you're working for to keep them in business. And they're like, hey, we're not making enough money. Let's give these guys a 50 cent an hour raise. So, wow, I worked a year. I got an extra 50 cents an hour. And what do I think I'm going to do with that? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to spend it. And they're going to make, 10,000 people 50 cents more an hour. That's more money coming back to us. You know what I mean? But you can go from being a consumer to being a provider of service. And then you find that there's freedom in that. You're not bound by building somebody else's dream.
So when you're focused on the dream itself,
yeah.
I heard you say, set your intention toward the dream and feel the thing.
Absolutely.
So from our research labs, we've in the things that we've done research on, we've identified in the 4D blueprint. The greatest success is when we get somebody to shift their emotions so that they can embrace what that thing feels like. Creating an emotion with a thought actually creates a memory. And if the memory doesn't exist yet, that's okay, because that's kind of like a guidance system. It's setting a target so that you can guide toward that thing. Most of our behaviors are guided toward memories that we have. So, excuse me. So if we replace the memory with things that haven't happened yet, i.e. what you're talking about, setting the roadmap, going to Disneyland, as long as it's not Buzzsaw Falls, I'm good. It's not that bad there. But anyway, so we get, we get our vision set on the thing, write the vision, make it plain. Others will read it and they'll run, but it'll give us inspiration and hope, because without vision, there's no hope. You can't be inspired unless you can see it.
Right.
And you have to be able to see it with the real you. I'm not talking about your flesh and blood and your eyeballs and all this kind of stuff. When you close your eyes, you have to be able to see that thing so that you can move toward it. Because at the end of the day, when you lay down this body, that's not the real you anyway.
Right.
And so when you set your intention toward that, then you're able to move toward it in a real way, because you've tied not just your thoughts, but your emotions, what you're talking about, getting your emotions stirred up and tying those together so that you can now feel the thing.
Well, and the whole point, right, is substance and evidence. So when we talk about tying emotions to vision, when I went to Gatlinburg, I had never been to Gatlinburg. But by the time I got to Gatlinburg, I didn't need a map, because I watched so many videos of people just driving down the street that I knew where all the shops were. I knew where all the corners were. I knew before I got there. But what I didn't have was the physical presence. But what I did have was the emotion, right? I had the excitement of going. I had the intention of what I was going to do when I got there. And so while the physical manifestation was not there, the emotion of excitement and intention, those things, the thought of intention and the emotion of excitement are real. And they drew me. They drew me to it. Like there was no way I wasn't gonna go. And it got to a point where my fiance wasn't gonna go, and so I talked to my brother. Hey, man, look, I'm going. Whether I drive, whether it's just me by myself or me with somebody, I'm going. And when you get that kind of attitude, no matter what, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And
so what you're saying is push yourself beyond whatever's going on around you. Don't be impacted by what other people are saying or doing or that kind of thing. Set your focus squarely on the target and go get it.
Absolutely. I mean, really, we want our loved ones to experience what it is that we're going through, but they can experience the fruits of it, right? They can experience the lifestyle shift when you're able to amass your business and get it going to a place where people go, man, you really did this thing. And they're looking around and they're amazed, but you're not amazed because you've been in it, right? You saw it from the beginning. So now they can come along. The danger is trying to bring them along. Look, go get there. Be like all of the great immigrants of this country. Go get there and then send for them. Once you get there and get established, send for them.
Put up a sign. You can come if you want to. If not, I'm gonna keep going.
Hey, that's it.
Look, I'm not carrying dead weight. I promise you that.
It's the lifestyle that, and even when we talk about our listeners and our viewers, right? A lot of them are in the credit space and they're trying to fix their credit. There's a reason. Like there's something that's driving you to say, I need to really get this area under control. I need to get it fixed. And that reason is the thing that's going to make it all happen. And the more that you can look at that thing in a positive light, like actually be excited, it changes everything. One of my clients, Deanna, awesome. I'm talking about awesome, right? She went from mentally struggling with a lot of different things to every time I talk to her, I'm focused on me, Fraser. I'm focused on me. I got my life where I needed to be. Look, so-and-so tried to upset me and talk about this or that. I just had to get away and focus on me. Like she learned that her peace and her joy was more important than everything else, man. We waste so much time on things that don't matter. We try to make relationships work when the other party is trying desperately to get away. And it's like, well, why are you chasing that person? Like you have an entire life out here and so many levels that you can be living, but you're stuck on this floor with somebody that don't even want to be on the floor with you.
Right. So let's talk about that for just a second. Let me interrupt you. So we're talking about, and I want to get through these steps because, so we can give somebody a full picture, but I want to, starting is the most difficult thing to do.
Absolutely.
Getting your attention, creating the vibe, as I put it, being able to feel that thing. But one of the most important things is changing the primary seats in your inner circle.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying get rid of folks. Like you don't have to kill them. You don't have to push them away out of your life is what I mean by that.
Right.
But you do have to, if you want to make $1 million and the old adage, birds of a feather, right?
Right.
So if I'm making, let's just say I'm making $50,000 a year, chances are my inner circle is pretty close to that.
Yeah.
They're going to be around about the same amount of money. Their family systems are going to have the same kind of issues. We're probably going to have the same kind of likes, wants, desires, that kind of thing, because that's what we do. We flock together with people that are like us because it makes us feel validated. It makes us feel more comfortable. However, if you want to get to one day you wake up and your dream, what you're talking about, says, I want to be a millionaire. So my question to the group would be, who in this circle can coach me and teach me how to do that? The answer to that question is nobody.
Right.
Because nobody's been there. That doesn't mean they don't love you. That doesn't mean that folk aren't going to give you good or advice that they think is good. Go buy a lottery ticket. Oh, I heard this guy say, oh, well, do this or follow these 15 people on social media. And none of that works, right? Because you're not focused on what works for you. And so what I challenge people to do, and I want you to talk about this, but then I want you to go to the third step after we get through with intention and feeling the thing, feeling what it feels like to become it.
Right.
Changing your inner circle and changing the seats there. One of the things that I challenge people to do is find somebody where you want to go and put them there. Sometimes you got to pay to play. You got to pay a coach to pull up to the table, and because you don't know anybody in that environment. Some of you might be fortunate enough to be able to pull somebody into that environment where you can learn and vibe from them, right? Because see, listen, if you make $1 million a year, you're going to move different than if you make $10 an hour.
Absolutely.
It's just a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
So my question is, what's something that people can do practically to start to fill their circle with people of where they want to go, and then take us to that next step after we intend and we feel it and we change our circle, and then what?
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and dress it up into the clothes, right? So the goal is the getting your feels together, actually knowing what the goal is clearly, and then the reality is knowing where you are today, knowing what you have, like you talk about your circle, the people around you. Now, when we talk about what are our obstacles or what are the opportunities, what are we going to do that's going to get us from our reality to the goal? That's where you start to answer those questions, right? If I want to make $10,000 an hour, I need to learn how to have $10,000 an hour conversations. The only person who can teach me how to have a $10,000 conversation is somebody who on a regular basis has $10,000 conversations. And like you said, you may have to pay for that. Kansas City has the Kauffman Foundation, and you can go down there and you can talk to the business owners who are volunteering their time to conversate with you and kind of have see where you are in your plan and help you kind of strategize. These people may have had those conversations, and it's a free service. So you can go down there and talk to them and learn from their knowledge. Just soak up what it is they know. They're volunteering their time because they were once where you are.
And there's a difference between a hustler and an entrepreneur.
Oh, absolutely.
YouTube is full of hustlers. And I'm so tired of hearing, oh, watch this person. Why do I get inundated with all of this stuff? And they're just hustlers, right? Yeah. They're not teaching you practical steps to build a lasting or a sustainable business. They just want to show you everybody wants to get rich quick scheme.
Sure. We love the money, right? We love the results. But again, the money is nothing more than a lag measure. Like, it is the result of everything else that you do. And if you're not doing anything to generate it, it's not going to come, or it's going to come poorly. I can have an agent who can talk on the phone and get off that phone in 230 seconds. I can have an agent get off the phone in 400 seconds. Now, you might think if the goal is 300 seconds, that the 200-second guy is killing it. But he's leaving out a whole bunch of crucial stuff that the 400-second guy is putting in. And so he's generating more income because he's not skipping steps. Okay. And though he may not have hit his goal yet, he's doing everything necessary to be able to hit it over time. And the more skilled he gets at his conversations, the less time it'll take for him to have the conversation. But we want to be on top of the sheet. Like, we want our stats to be good. So we're going to do everything we can to get the stat good. We're going to go out there and we'll buy marketing funnels, but we don't have products and we don't even know how to create a product. And once we create the product and somebody says, okay, I want to be a customer, you don't even know what to do with it. Now you're like, okay.
That's why our business blueprint our business blueprint that we have developed and is 100% complete from beginning to end. And honestly, it pissed off a bunch of people in the industry because they're giving away parts of it for 10 grand.
Sure.
Well, I'm going to teach you how to go get customers, or I'm going to teach you how to build your avatar and your. But what we did is we took it from the beginning, from the mindset piece and taking it out of your head, putting it down on paper, all the way to making a dollar and what all of that means in between, and how do you scale it from there? Because if I can teach you the principles of business and how you can build it once and you understand it, then you can turn around and duplicate that over and over and over again in any situation without having to come to me. I want to teach you. I want to teach you how to fish. I don't want to teach you a part, right? Like it's like getting a part of something. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it does from if I want to get rich right now kind of thing, because I've got this widget that I can sell you. Now the widget doesn't complete the whole picture, but if you buy it, you'll be that much farther along. And everybody gets excited and they pay 5-10 grand to all these companies, and they get in there and they learn the widget. But how do I do the rest of it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing, right? So the hope is that they would qualify the person before they sold it. But the reality is the reason why they're making $600,000 is because most people aren't being qualified. They're just taking the money and giving them what they asked for. And when people get it, I remember reading a report that I got from somebody, and I'm going, "This is it. They charge $300 for this."
Right.
And I mean, I guess they did the work of compiling information and putting it in this PDF file, but I'm like, I know just as much as I knew before I read it. That didn't help me do anything. And so that is the downfall of the information as a product age is I equate it to our kids with cell phones. It's like putting a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a car. Yeah, they know how to step on the gas and make the car move, but they don't have the wisdom to drive the car. So yeah, I can sell you a thing, and in there, the stuff that I'm selling you is useful information, but I'm just giving you the internet and you're 5. You don't know what to do with it.
Oh man, I'm telling you what, my grandkids, they think they do. They got phones
and
iPads and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you will be able to do something, right? Like I tell people all the time, be proud of where you are right now. Be proud of the fact that you were able to go out there, get employed, and keep a job. Be proud of the fact that you're able to pay rent and have a roof over your head, or a vehicle that work half the time it don't, but there's people walking and people on the bus, right? Like, so you got something. And you should be proud of the fact that without hyper focus, you were able to at least amass something. But now, Steve Harvey said this: I want you to go out there at least one time before you die and really try living life and seeing what life has for you. Just one time. He's like, if you go out there and you really try living life, go all in on it one time, it could change everything.
Everything.
And we talking about a man who was sleeping in his car, right? A man who lived in his car for 2 years because he was sending all his money back home to his wife to take care of the kid. But he had to be out there on the road telling jokes. He went from that to owning, thousands of acres of land and 7 TV shows at once. You know what I mean? But like he said, he just wants to see what's out there for him. And he's not going to turn it down. If something comes his way, why not try it? Why not see what happens?
Right. So let's we're nearing the end. I want to make sure we wrap up the complete thought. So we set our intention.
Mm-hmm.
We feel the emotion of becoming.
Right.
We change our circle.
Mm-hmm.
So take me to the dream. What are 2 or 3 practical steps from that point that I can get to my dream practically, at least give me a start?
Okay, so the most important thing, first and foremost, is to pick the thing that you know you will do and fit it into your current construct of life, right? Like if you're not a reader, if you don't read books, don't tell yourself you're going to read 3 hours a day, because you're not. You're not going to do it. You don't read now. So
what if you want to change your behavior?
If we want to change the behavior, let's set something realistic. I'm going to pick up the book today. I'll pick it up on Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll pick it up again on Saturday. And instead of putting a time limit on, I'm going to just read until, my brain says, okay, that's enough. And then you pick it up a day or two later and you read a bit. Your only commitment needs to be that you're not going to let more than a day pass before you pick it up again. And I promise you, you're going to miss a day. I promise you, like, life is going to happen. Something's going to come to try and disrupt that pattern. But commit yourself to, I'm going to start this thing and I'm going to do this. And I might not do it as skillfully as other people do it, but this is me and my journey. Like, I'm going to do this. And as you start with the small things, because you know the steps, right? And one of those steps, I don't care what business you're trying to start, even if it's repairing your credit, education is there. You're going to have to learn things. So make that the thing that you do. And it could be as simple as watching YouTube, watching somebody that's already doing what you're doing and getting ideas from that. Or it could be, 10 simple steps, and then you'll write those steps down, and then you'll see somebody's 25 steps and you'll write those down. And in those 35 steps, you might find the 8 steps that you're going to do. But without anything, you can't answer that question for yourself because you don't know. So you're going to have to go out there and find it. But again, I'm telling you, it's so critical. You have to have the right frame of mind and focus. When you go to look at that YouTube, man, be like you're about to watch a Marvel movie. Get excited first. Grab you some popcorn and something to drink. Like really get in on it. Like you're about to do something, and then people start talking. Shh. I'm like, get into it, because the excitement is a real thing, and you're tying that excitement to the real goal. And one of my exercises is to write down your future self. Like, what do you wear? What do you drive? What does your day of work look like for you? Like, write all of this out in exhaustive detail. And when you know who that person is, come back to who you are today. And every time you're faced with a decision, answer your decision or make that decision the way that your future self would answer and make that decision. And you can say, well, I don't know. Absolutely, you do know. And that's the thing. Your future self does know how they would answer that question. Yeah, I wouldn't put up with that. So then why are you putting up with that? You see what I mean? Because the you you're becoming wouldn't do that. So make reality pull you to who you want to be, but you can't pull yourself to somebody you don't know exists.
Got it. That's good. I mean, that's good. Being able to visualize who you want to become in a future state and just drawing lines from where you are to who you want to become to change behaviors.
Absolutely.
One of the other things that we do, some of the work that we do with our clients is dealing with detaching from the tether of their past experiences, some of which were given to them before they were born through DNA memory, of course, and we go through all of the investigation is a good word to be able to touch those things, so that we can, because I believe in what I call the Rumpelstiltskin theory, right? I can't even say it. The Rumpelstiltskin theory. If you can name a thing, you take away its power, right? And so the thing that's been running us all of this time, is it was worth something then. We created it for a reason. It has a right to be alive. But now it doesn't serve our purpose anymore. It doesn't serve where we are, but yet the program continues to run. So you're talking about a future state. So that is helpful, because once you detach, then what do you create? And that is an incredible opportunity to be able to create something. Now that may change. your
Sure.
future state is going to change as you start moving forward. You'd be like, yeah, I really don't. I thought I wanted that, but I don't. And so you can make that fluid observation.
Well, yeah, and things become more as they become more real. You begin to feel things in a real way, right? So you can start off by saying, yeah, man, I want this 9-bedroom house and this and that. And then as you begin to learn about how money works and use it as a tool, you say, well, I don't need a 9-bedroom house. I might only need like a 4-bedroom house, but then I'll get another 4-bedroom house somewhere else, but I'll make that an Airbnb. And so then
you make the 9-bedroom house an Airbnb.
yeah, you don't want it for you anymore.
Right.
You begin to see what the future you would use it for. Because now you guys, instead of it being somebody that you're trying to aspire to be, you then begin to collaborate with the future you so that you both can get what it is you want.
Yeah. I love that. So look, we're winding down. It's the top of the hour, and I want to make sure that people understand Change 360, 365. Talk to us for just a second about if somebody is interested in hiring you or getting in touch with you with regard to services that you offer. Maybe a corporation wants to hire you to come in or talk to you about helping their managers, develop, or somebody wants to hire you one-on-one. How would they do that? How do people get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Well, you can definitely follow me on Facebook. You can also go to Change 360 365 has a Facebook page as well as a website. On both of those platforms, there's a link tree, and in that link tree, you can get directly to my calendar, and we can put some time on there to talk about what it is you need, whether it be a company or a corporation. If they need some management guidance, we definitely do that. If it's an individual who wants to improve where they are or wants to look at work differently, wants to really put all the pieces of their lives together, we can do that as well. We have products going both ways. Some people really need to be taught how to goal set, and other people are rock stars where they are, but they want to be better. And we can help them with that. And really, that's why I love Mindset Central, because the mind is the key to all of it. And if you can't get your mind right, we're going to run into some real issues. You can only speak for so long.
You'll remember, because you're old enough, but back in the 80s, there was the 90s, whenever Nancy Reagan started that Say No to Drugs campaign, there was a series of commercials where they had a frying pan with an egg in it. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. And it's true. It's true. We jest, but a mind is a terrible thing to waste. John, I absolutely appreciate the time that you took out of your busy schedule to talk with us, talk with the tribe. I want to open the floor for just a couple minutes to let you have any final thoughts, and then we're going to go ahead and take it to the house.
Okay. I just want to say to you guys, keep pushing. Everything that you see on the inside of yourself exists, and it's real. You can get there. And this is a great platform. These are excellent speakers. I learned more about medical stuff than I ever knew just listening to the last podcast. So you guys be a part of this information. Ask questions in the community. Find out what they know. Find out if they're willing to help you, guide you. They have the resources. So I implore you to do what is expedient. You're already listening. You're already watching. You're already a fan. Become a member.
That's awesome. Well, everybody, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come talk and hang out with us. My name is Greg Healy. This is Mindset Central, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Amazing.